True Crime Society podcast contains adult themes and violence and is not intended for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. And if you'd like to skip the intro or move to any specific part of the podcast, please refer to the timestamps listed in the episode description. Thank you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of True Crime Society podcast with Stephanie and Olivia. It is November 30th right now. It is winter, basically. I mean, not technically, but it feels like it. There is a snowstorm coming here on Tuesday, apparently. It's a little soon to tell because it's
I think I did
Sunday
read
right
that
now.
somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. And right now, like, my weather app says we're in 5 to 8 inches of snow. I'm sure that'll change because I always get my hopes up and then it's like, oh, it's actually just going to rain.
Be slushy rain.
We might be getting some snow, so stay tuned.
First day of summer here, 1st of December, so we're officially into summer. It's been very hot, very nice. Yeah, we had, I don't know if I think it was after we recorded last week. We had this crazy storm one day last week. All of a sudden, it was so sunny, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, it was like a hurricane. It wasn't a hurricane, but it was like that. It was like so windy. The rain was sideways.
It's probably like a supercell.
Yeah, everything was overflowing. And then when I went to pick up, so then like it lasted for maybe 10, 15 minutes, got sunny again. I went to pick up my daughter, and where I pick her up, there's like a parking lot. And a tree had literally fallen on a car, and I saw the CCTV. Like, it was just like the tree just went sideways and just fell onto the car. It was wild.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of winter being here, it's been so cold out, and I've talked about many times like how I have cameras set up basically just to watch the animals that could show up in my yard. And I remember being like, there's no wildlife, what the hell? Then I got turkeys, I got a bear, I've had foxes, and there's always a couple stray cats outside, and I never started feeding them until recently because I love cats and I just see them on my cameras and I feel so sad for them, and I'm like, they're cold, they're hungry, they're crying. So I started putting out some dry cat food on my back deck for them, and they've been coming, they've been eating, and I'm like, oh my God, my new pets, I love this. But then a possum starts showing up, and this motherfucker is a big possum, and not even be like, I don't feel bad for the possum, but like I want to feed the cats, and this possum comes, literally cleans house, eats all the food, all of it in like a sitting. There was also, though, this cute little baby possum that came
the video
unattended, and I haven't seen him since I sent you that video, and I'm like, what happened to the little tiny baby possum? I'm like, maybe this possum's the mom, maybe the baby's in a nest somewhere, I don't know. But anyway, so then I'm like, how can I not have this possum eat all the food, because then the cats show up later looking for food and there's none left. So I started now putting a food on the ground for the possum to get, and then up on my table I like put the chairs in a way that only a cat could jump, because I know possums could probably climb, like they go in trees, so a cat could jump onto the table. So then I put another food on the table just for the cats, and I was worried they weren't figured out, but they have been going on the table and eating the food. So it seems like it's working.
Well, that's good.
So far, the possum has not gotten on the table. He stays on the ground, and he comes probably like 40 times a night. And I'm like, sir, you already ate all the food. I don't know why you're back.
Just in case.
Just in case there's a crumb somewhere. I'm like, he's probably living under my deck at this point now. But I also then got, because I was like, the snow's coming. It's like 20 degrees out. These poor cats. I bought a heated cat shelter for them. So we'll see. I'm sure they won't go in it because, of course, they won't. And I'm sure the possum will take up residence in it, but we'll see.
You'll have a family of possums soon.
I just need to know they have a place to go that's warm. Poor things. And yeah, I'm just gonna have a warm possum now. So I'll keep everyone posted on that. It's supposed to come tomorrow.
Possum updates.
Yes, we'll have possum updates. We had turkey updates. I've got all the wildlife updates. You haven't had any wildlife since your echidna.
No, it's been pretty quiet. I posted a photo on Patreon of a kookaburra. Like, I see always a lot of kookaburras.
Oh, you get the kookaburras. Yeah,
and I think I've mentioned in one episode someone down the road has like had a family of magpies living, but no, it's been pretty quiet on the wildlife front lately. I haven't seen too much.
May 2026 is your wildlife year.
Maybe, who knows? It's definitely got to be some type of year anyway.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your book?
Yeah. So just a little bit of a book club update for anyone who is following along with the true crime book recommendations. Last night, I thought, I've been really slow reading my next Frida McFadden, which was The Surrogate Mother. And I reckon I read probably 3/4 of it last night. It was so good. It was probably one of my favorite ones of hers that I've read. And like I've said in the past, don't
Which one
read
was it?
them.
The Surrogate?
The Surrogate Mother. Don't
Yeah.
read it if you're looking for a very academic read. Read it if you're looking for a bit of escape. And her books are quite short, so they're super fast. They're really fast paced. Like I hate books where I'm like, there's nothing happening. It's so slow. It's very fast. And like there are some twists in it, and I always feel really dumb when I read her books. I think because they're so fast, I don't even think about what's going to happen. I'm just in it and I'm reading it. Whereas usually like I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. This person is this person. Didn't think about it. It was great. I would say it's probably up there with one of my favorite ones of hers that I've read. I enjoyed it.
I don't know if it's because of the show or movie or whatever coming out, but I've been seeing people posting her books a lot lately and just like saying how they're all very good and entertaining to read.
I feel like some of them are, but then like don't get me wrong, this book was ridiculous. There is no way it could ever probably actually happen. I feel like a lot of her books are like that, but it is an escapist read. It's just something that is entertaining.
Yeah, that's why I think people like it.
Yeah, and I feel like even though it touches on some, like, I guess, this is about infertility a little bit and about, surrogacy and things like that. It's just so ridiculous that it shouldn't really, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things that you can read and just get into it for what it is, which is an escapist, easy read.
Yeah, it's like watching like trash
Yeah,
TV
exactly.
or like a crappy like sitcom, not sitcom, but like a drama show.
So I do read like proper books as well. Like I am ordering My Friends by Frederick Backman, which is a really, really great book, but it's just slower for me because I listen when I'm in the car or walking or whatever. Whereas this one, I just thought last night, I just want to read something easy and fun, and it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe if I get back into reading, it's so
I feel like it would also be a great movie or Netflix show. Like probably not a show because it's quite short, but I guess you could use the premise as a show. But yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
And obviously, in a lot of her books too, she carries them on. Like, so there's one bit at the end where I'm like, there's definitely going to be a second book. There might already be one, but I'm like, this is definitely going to be a second book.
She just leaves it open ended. Just in case.
She inserts like a little cliffhanger, like so you think, oh, okay, yeah, this is obviously left open for another one.
Yeah.
And just before we get into the episode, we do have a listener of the week this week. One of the last episodes that we recorded was about deadly dads, and we spoke about the domestic violence aspect of a lot of those cases. And this is a comment from Ashley. She said, "Thank you for understanding that DV situations are incredibly difficult. Hearing why didn't she leave always hits me as why didn't you leave? And that is so hard to answer without living my life or any woman's life who has lived through DV. These stories are important to tell, even though they are horrific. I love your podcast. You ladies really brighten up my day." So I agree. Like
that's really nice.
Yeah, we've been trying to share a lot this week since that episode has been released. The DV resources and other resources that we have on our Instagram highlights. And if you can't find them, like it's there right at the top. But if you can't find them, just send us a message on there, and we'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. They're all on our page, and we'll try to routinely post them in our stories and all that.
Yeah, we should probably also update it with some more resources because I'm sure that there are different ones that we can add, but there are some on there if you are stuck, so definitely check them out.
Yeah. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a big case. It's like, it is big news, but again, I feel like it's not at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, it's all over like TMZ, but like I don't think like ABC News is covering it or anything like that, and it's like a pretty crazy case.
The other thing, I guess, just as a bit of a disclaimer too, so we are going to speak about the David and Celeste case. So David is a singer, which we'll get into the aspects of the case, but the body of a teenager was found in his abandoned vehicle. Just to clarify, at the time of recording, there are actually no charges that have been laid. There are a lot of legal things going on, so we're not implying that David has done anything. It's just, this is just the case to date. It is very interesting, and I've been waiting to do it to see what will happen, but it is taking a while for them to get their ducks in a row, I think.
Yeah, and like I've been, I guess I'll say casually reading along. Like I've read the TMZ articles and stuff, but Olivia found some good resources and some things on Reddit. So there's actually like a lot more to it that I didn't know until we started doing the notes for this. A lot of his internet history is pretty interesting. So we'll get into all of that.
Yeah, and the other thing too, just to clarify, is that the police have been pretty tight-lipped in this case. So we will, they've made a few statements which we've included, but in terms of the dates and the timelines, we've had to put together what we can from kind of internet sources. Other people have done the same. So there may be a discrepancy here or there with the date, but I don't think it really matters too much to the story. It's all in the general timeline anyway, just in case you're wondering. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as Olivia mentioned, we're going to be discussing the ongoing case of the singer David and the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Celeste was 14 years old when her body was found in David's abandoned Tesla in September 2025, and the investigation has been ongoing. Like we said, he hasn't been charged with anything like that. So we're just going to go through all the information that's out there.
And if you're totally new to this case and you want to look it up, don't Google David. His name is D, the number 4VD. Like in my head, I always was saying to you, I still read it D4vd. I know it's David, but if you're absolutely not familiar with the case, his name is D4vd is how it's, I guess, spelled, if that's the right word.
Tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Tesla registered to the singer who goes by the stage name David, Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, the same girl who was reported missing last year, according to the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. Police first found the teen's decomposed body on September 8th after being called to a Hollywood tow yard because of a foul odor coming from the Tesla, which was impounded after a person reported the car abandoned. Law enforcement sources say the remains were not intact, and according to the medical examiner, it appeared the girl, who is described as having wavy black hair and weighing about 71 pounds, had been dead inside the Tesla for an extended period of time. The singer David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, rose to fame on TikTok and is currently on tour. A spokesperson for the artist did not respond to NBC News' request for comment today, but last week said the 20-year-old was fully cooperating with the authorities. The LAPD is not calling the death criminal, saying in a statement that at this time, the agency does not have a crime classification from the coroner as to the mode or manner of death. Thus, we do not have any suspect information at this time. And right now, police have not said if they believe the singer David knew or ever had contact with the victim. We are just learning that his show scheduled for tonight in Seattle has now been canceled.
Yeah, so we'll get into some background about each of them first. So David was born David Anthony Burke. His birth name is actually David, not with the number 4, of course. On March 28th, 2005, he was born in Queens, New York, and he would later move with his family to Houston. When he reached 7th grade, he started to be homeschooled, and he apparently listened to nothing but gospel music until he was 13 years old. He played piano and also sang in a church choir. He once said in an interview with Apostrophe magazine, "I get my personal power from God for sure. I'm a heavy believer in the Christian faith." David also enjoyed playing Fortnite, and he liked watching montages made by fans of the game. He began to make his own edits, but became dejected when they were demonetized for copyright issues. His mother then suggested that he make his own music, so he started doing just that. His first big success in the music industry was in 2022 when his songs Romantic Homicide and Here With Me went viral. I assumed I didn't know any of his songs,
So
but then
did
when
I.
I heard them, I was like, oh no, I actually do know this song. Like, it was big on TikTok or something, like online. If you're online, you've probably heard at least Here With Me.
I don't care how long it takes, as long as I'm with you, I've got a smile on my face.
Yeah, TikTok and Instagram. And to be fair, like they are actually very, like he is quite a talented singer, musician. His songs are quite good. I enjoy them. And when I was the same, I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. He has 1.9 million followers on Instagram. He's probably had about that since all this happened. And when I looked, I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. But then I feel like a lot of people do once you actually listen to some of his music.
Yeah.
Like, yep, I've heard that before.
So this is a quote from him. He said, the thing about the music for Fortnite is that they were also great songs. I made the songs for videos in the gaming community, and they were able to be used in that context. But when I was making those songs, I never thought, okay, I'm a gamer. I'm going to make a song specifically for this. I'm going to be super corny with it. It's just going to be for these people in a particular audience, and I'm going to box myself into this persona. I knew what I liked, what I didn't like, my inspirations and my passions, and music was weaving its way into my life very subtly and sneakily. So, due to being homeschooled, his music often referenced situations that he had not yet experienced himself. He said, "When I started making these songs, I realized that I was talking about very complex things in love and relationships, feelings and emotions that I wasn't experiencing at the time. I was able to be a conduit for the people in my life, talking to my friends about their relationships or relationship problems and how their breakups affected them."
And just to kind of add to, so now we're at 2025. David is only around 20 years old. So when his songs
It's
went,
crazy how he blew up.
yeah, 2022. So 3 years ago, he was 17 and he was writing these songs, which is, I think, what that quote is in reference to. Like, he, obviously probably hadn't had super complex relationships by then. He's still a very, very young person.
Yeah. So how do you go from making music for Fortnite videos to being an actual pretty successful musician in such a short time? Is crazy.
Yeah. And at such a young age as well, like not even, yeah.
Now already at the center of a murder investigation. So Celeste, she was born on September 7th, 2010. I said this in the last episode. I'm like, how are we saying people who were born after I graduated high school?
Yeah.
She lived in Lake Elsinore, California. Celeste attended Lakeland Village High School, and her friend Ruby Alonso described her as sweet and studious. Her home life appeared to have been quite troubled. She was reported missing at least 3 times in 2024 when she was 13 or 14 years old. The most recent missing report for Celeste was made in April 2024. An ex-boyfriend of Celeste spoke to News Nation about her home situation, and separately, someone from TMZ also quoted the ex-boyfriend as saying, he said that she would say that her parents were really mean and that she didn't like being home. So this ex-boyfriend is Damian Hernandez. He's 15 years old, and he dated Celeste in middle school. It's crazy, we're talking about literal 15-year-olds in middle school.
Yeah, it's the same age as my daughter, basically. It's crazy.
Imagine her giving comments.
Yeah.
He revealed that when he first connected with Celeste, she was kind and looking for something serious. Damien said that Celeste talked often about running away from home. She didn't indicate that there was any abuse. He said it was just more about her not liking the environment she was in. So despite Celeste being reported missing in April 2024, there is a video online which shows her at the family home. So it's thought that she visited them at least once after she ran away. It's kind of confusing. It seems like she came and went.
And people have a lot of questions about that. They're like, obviously the family kind of, I know like teenagers are impulsive and sometimes they are uncontrollable, but like there's insinuations that the family kind of knew what she was doing, where she was, and they kind of just went with the situation. She wasn't essentially really missing as such. I know none of that's confirmed, but that's what there's a lot of conjecture about online.
Yeah. So Celeste's mother has spoken to the media and said that she believed her daughter was dating a man named David when she ran away. So like we mentioned at the start, there's a really comprehensive timeline on Reddit that we'll link in our blog if you want to go through it again. And it outlines everything from 2022 onwards, so we're going to go through that. So David released Romantic Homicide on September 7th, 2022, which was coincidentally Celeste's 12th birthday at the time, and David would have been 16. Around this time, Celeste and David were interacting publicly on Discord. So there's some screenshots of this. There's a message from Celeste on August 28th, 2022 at 5:13 p.m. She said, "My parents are so fucking annoying." And then she said, "They won't let me go see you perform." And he said, "Don't worry, I'll fix it."
So just to clarify too, this is 2 years before she reported missing. So reported missing. So they've obviously been interacting for a very long time before she left. Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's a message from David. This is on October 23rd, 2022. He tagged Celeste and said, "Celeste in here." And she said, "Hi, David, bark." I don't know what the bark's for.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Then this is also in 2022, I think in August. It's a little blurry. Someone in the Discord chat named Marky said, "Hey, Celeste, I miss you." Celeste said, "Hi, Marky, you did great." And David said, "Facts, best bodyguard, he'd kill for me." So I guess he's his bodyguard. So the two would interact on Discord until Celeste went missing in 2024. On September 7th, 2023, Celeste's 13th birthday, David posted birthday suicide on Discord. He posted a picture with Celeste on December 13th, 2023, and 10 days later, he released a demo song called Celeste.
Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Oh, Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when undressed. But you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed. But I digress because I love you so much.
But the lyrics read, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Oh Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed, but I digress because I love you so much."
It's so revolting because she was, if that song is about her, which it probably is, she was 13. That is so inappropriate. I know he was also a teenager, but still not appropriate for a 13-year-old to write a song about a 13-year-old like that.
So David went live with Celeste on January 11th, 2024, and Celeste had run away from home on February 14th, 2024 on Valentine's Day. So she was with him right before she ran away again. She returned home then in March 2024 and then ran away for the final time in April 2024. So it seems we can guess that she was probably going and staying with
Coming
him,
and
it seems
going, and
like.
then she just decided to not come back, essentially.
Yeah. So in June 2024, David posted a TikTok that included Celeste. She was seen backstage with him on June 27th, 2024. According to the Reddit timeline, this was the last time that Celeste was confirmed to have been alive. There are online comments that Celeste was still in contact with her close friends until around July or August 2025, but someone on Reddit made the point of saying, who's to say it was Celeste on the other end of the phone? And someone said probably David has her phone.
I feel like this is a main point for me because everything I thought I'd kind of known about this case, I thought that Celeste was definitely alive until July or August this year, but it hasn't apparently been confirmed. Like, obviously, she was maybe talking to people via text and phone. So, like, she could have been, but in terms of an actual confirmed sighting, it seems like it was last year. So that was because I thought she must not have been deceased for very long, but maybe she has been for longer. It's just one of those things that we're not entirely sure, but that is apparently the last time anyone can actually confirmed to have seen her.
Yeah. So in September 2024, David got a sh tattoo, like SHH. After Celeste was found dead, she also had a matching tattoo that said shh. I feel silly just being like shh. In February 2025, David posted a video of himself cleaning Celeste's shoes. And it gets a bit complicated here because, of course, in July 2025, David started hanging out with another girl also named Celeste. What are the chances?
And just to say also, this is allegedly because this other Celeste hasn't really come forward. This is just what people have determined based on what, because he was online a lot. He posted a
posts all
ton
the time,
online.
yeah.
So this is what people have determined based on his posts and lives and things like that.
Yeah. So this Celeste, her last name is Herrera, and she was 23 at the time. So around June or July 2025, Celeste H, the new Celeste, was seen wearing Celeste Rivas Hernandez, old Celeste, missing Celeste's
Celeste
hoodie.
one.
Yeah. And this was the item of clothing that she was wearing when her family last saw her. So a little weird. On July 30th, 2025, David apparently performed and threw a funeral for his alter ego. The performance had a hearse, a casket, and a funeral service. This info about some of David's other music is from News Nation. It says, observers have noted that some of the R&B singer's music is eerily macabre, with him performing what looks like a bloodied shirt, a coffin on stage, and lyrics like, in the back of my mind, I killed you and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you. There's also a music video released in February this year that features a body being dragged and put into the trunk of a car, which I guess isn't really a groundbreaking thing to do, but the coincidence now is kind of
that it has actually happened.
Strange.
And people are now questioning, obviously, the timing of these releases and things like that. But yeah.
So a private investigator who has been involved in the case would later come out and say that the Tesla was parked on the curb outside of David's home from late July. Captain Williams told the LA Times, I'm not sure exactly when the parking complaints about the Tesla began, but it was closer to the beginning part of August. On August 5th, 2025, David started to tour for his latest album, Withered. On September 3rd, 2025, David's Tesla was cited for violating a 72-hour parking ordinance. 2 days later, on September 5th, his Tesla was impounded and taken to a LA tow yard. 3 days later, on September 8th, workers at the yard reported a foul odor coming from the Tesla. They also said that the vehicle was attracting flies, which obviously is not a good sign. So LAPD attended and announced that a body had been found in a bag in the front trunk of the Tesla. News sources did also indicate that the body may have been dismembered.
I remember when this all started, because obviously at the time we didn't know that it was David's car. They were the news was basically just this body has been found and it was dismembered and in a bag. There was all these kind of sensationalist aspects to the case. But at this point, we didn't know that there was the connection to David when there was news articles about the body being found, just not who the car belonged to.
Yeah. So the body was identified as being Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and her remains were found the day before her 15th birthday. Her body was apparently so severely decomposed that the LA County Medical Examiner's Office could not distinguish her eye color or race and listed her weight as 71 pounds. She appears to have been deceased inside the vehicle for an extended period of time before being found, the Medical Examiner's Office said in an online report. The LAPD would also confirm that the car had been ticketed for 11 days before Celeste was found, which strongly indicates that her body was probably in the trunk that entire time.
Just to kind of clarify too on her apparently weighing 71 pounds. So according to her missing persons poster, she was 5'3". So 71 pounds would obviously not have been her weight, but I feel like that does emphasize that she was probably decomposed and that there were just remains. It wasn't so much of a body or parts of the body were missing. And I think too that weight is why people have been continually speculating about her being dismembered, that maybe parts of her were missing. I don't know, but I feel like it's explainable if depending on the amount of decomposition that there was.
Yeah, I agree.
So after Celeste was found, police searched the Hollywood Hills mansion where David had been staying. The home had been rented by David's manager. The home's owner has come out later and said that he had no idea that David was living there. He spoke to Rolling Stone and he said, "This all came as a complete shock to me. I only found out about the police activity this morning. Until then, I had no idea anything had happened at the house or whatever was going on with David and the missing girl. I never knew David and I wasn't even aware that he had lived in the house." So the lease by David's manager began in February 2024. The house is in the affluent Bird Street neighborhood of Sunset Boulevard, and it rents for $14,000 a month. It's only 500 feet from the parking place where David's Tesla was abandoned. So I've put the links to both because David was living somewhere else and where the house was. So I put the links to the houses on the blog. They're all online, it's all public information, but it's a beautiful, as you would expect, Hollywood Hills mansion.
A dozen LAPD investigators took a computer and other items from this Hollywood home just a block away from where an abandoned Tesla was found with a dead teenager in the trunk. Police spent hours at the home on Dehaney Place, placing several evidence bags into an SUV, but they wouldn't say if or how it was connected to the Tesla. Several homeowners say they remember seeing that distinct Tesla for a while, first parked in front of the house police searched today, then at two different spots on the street.
It's a little weird to see a car that I haven't seen here for a long time. Had a big dent on it, had a Texas plate on it. So all a little odd, but at the same time, people could be hanging out with friends for prolonged time.
That abandoned Tesla was towed earlier this month, and workers at a Hollywood tow yard noticed a foul odor and found decomposed human remains wrapped in a garbage bag inside the car. We now know the young woman found dead was 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, according to the medical examiner, the same teen who was reported missing from Lake Elsinore last year. At a corner store in town, the owner recalled her coming in often.
She always quiet, nice. She come in like if she buy like a chips, soda, and leave. Sometimes she come with a friend from the neighborhood.
Eyewitness News has learned Rivas had run away from home a few times. She was last reported missing in spring of 2024. Those who knew Rivas, who just turned 15 a week and a half ago, say she was bubbly and sweet.
She just seemed very lively and friendly, a typical teenager.
During a search of the home, electronics, including a computer, were seized. Shortly after the search, David's manager terminated the lease and David moved out, and he also retained a criminal defense attorney named Blair Burke. So the car was towed and the remains were found in early September. On September 16th, a spokesperson for David made this statement. David has been informed about what has happened, and although he's still out on tour, he's fully cooperating with the authorities. And I know at this point, this is when people are like, what is he doing? How is he still on tour? Like, he absolutely performed some shows after the body was found. But by September 19th, a few days after that statement was made, he did cancel the rest of his tour. He was meant to go to Europe and things like that. It was all cancelled. Mm-hmm. Around this time, the admin of David's Discord server released a statement that says, to the members of this server, we, the Discord and Twitch staff team, want to clarify what we knew and didn't know regarding Celeste. We were not aware of her true age or that she was a missing person. We also did not have any contact with her outside of what was public. From what was shared in David's Twitch streams and from her role in the server, we understood her to be around 18 or 19. She appeared in 2 streams but was otherwise not active in the server, and we did not have ongoing communication with her. Most of us are not located in California, so we were not aware of any missing persons reports connected to her. Additionally, the staff team has had minimal contact with David or his management. The mention of her full name within the server was not seen in real time due to how fast the chat moves when David pings everyone. As a result of the situation, the majority of staff team has left the server and we no longer associate with David. We do not support his actions in any capacity. Our priority has always been the well-being of members in the community, and we are deeply saddened of the situation. And they link the GoFundMe for Celeste's family. So, I guess it would be awful to be associated with this type of situation where she was obviously underage, missing, being harboured. It was horrible. On September 29th, 2025, the LAPD Robbery Homicide Division said, quote, they were thoroughly examining every aspect in the case to uncover the truth and to seek justice for Celeste and her family. A vigil was held for Celeste around that time, and she was buried at the Queen of Heaven Cemetery in Rowland Heights in California on October 6th, 2025. So on November 19th, 2025, despite earlier reports of David being cooperative in the investigation, a source has apparently revealed otherwise. There are a lot of unnamed sources in this case in mainstream media articles, not just comments online, like they are quoted in articles from, say, NBC and sources like that. This information is from NBC. It says singer David has been identified as a suspect in the death of a 15-year-old girl who was found dead in a vehicle that he owned. And that is according to an LAPD department source with direct knowledge of the investigation. The source also told NBC he has not been cooperative. And it says the teen most likely died in the spring and David most likely had help dismembering and disposing of the body. So after the body was found in September, there was, a few articles here and there. We didn't learn too much until probably the last, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks. And that's when the case started to get really messy. There were some reports from big news agencies, including TMZ, that Celeste's body had been found dismembered and partially frozen. But you also have to remember this was Los Angeles in August, September. So for a body to remain frozen at the time, I'm like, this seems weird. Was it just put in there? If it was frozen, it couldn't have been in the car for long.
Yeah.
But authorities have since debunked that. This was part of the initial reporting. This is from TMZ. It says Celeste's body had been frozen, and as a result, it looks like the LA County medical examiner will not be able to establish a cause of death. Sources directly connected to the investigation tell TMZ. According to those sources, the medical examiner received the body in horrendous condition. It was decapitated, and while the torso was intact, the limbs had been removed and cut into multiple pieces. TMZ said, "We are told all of the body parts were partially frozen and had apparently been thawing out while sitting in the trunk of the Tesla." So it is possible that some of this misinformation, we've been told is now misinformation, did come from the medical examiner. This is a quote from an article. It says, "Interesting. In one document from the medical examiner, it reads, the decedent was not live scanned due to waterlogged fingers. Translation, the ME was unable to fingerprint Celeste's body." So I feel like maybe that's where some of this information came from, plus the weight that they gave of her being 71 pounds. People are like, well, she was missing body parts. Just a lot of, I guess, speculation is what was happening at the time.
I did see that TMZ also posted again that their source for the body being frozen at some point, like, doubled down on that.
Yeah. And you know what? I know TMZ is a tabloid, don't get me wrong, but I feel like generally
They have their sources.
Yeah, they're pretty, like, they have a lot of legal representation. So they post things that are generally true. I know there have been anomalies where they take things down, but generally they are pretty thorough. I don't know, people will probably come out for that. But I feel like, people are like, I won't believe it till TMZ says it. So maybe.
No, I agree. There's always people that are like, it's TMZ, like, they're not a good source. Why would you believe them? They're right a lot of the time, and they clearly have some good sources and connections because they get a lot right. Yeah. And I trust TMZ for the most part, even though it sounds shitty. If anything, it's more so sometimes they post things too early, and that's upsetting to people, which I can understand. Like with Kobe Bryant's death, they posted that like before a lot of his family members even really knew or something, apparently before his wife knew possibly. So I understand that, but they do seem to be right a lot of the time.
So this is a response from the LAPD regarding the misinformation in the case. It says LAPD Captain and Commanding Officer Scott Williams spoke to people and said that Celeste was not frozen and she was not decapitated as previously reported by local media. Celeste's body was not frozen. She was not decapitated. The whole frozen thing doesn't even make sense. Her body was in the car for weeks. He went on to say, even if she had been frozen solid when she was put in the car, which there is no evidence to suggest she was, 5 or more weeks in the trunk of a car in sweltering heat in the middle of summer would not have resulted in a partially frozen body being discovered on December 8th. This is a part of another statement released by authorities, again, debunking the frozen aspect of this case. It says the body of Celeste was not frozen when it was discovered. We have evidence that David traveled to the Santa Barbara area sometime during the spring of 2025. The reason for that trip is still under investigation, and we've drawn no conclusions at this point about the relevance of the trip to this case. That's kind of an interesting part of the statement, like why are they including the Santa Barbara part? Obviously, they are putting together their own timeline of whatever happened. So Steve Fisher is a PI who has been hired by the owner of the house where David was staying. He has spoken to a lot of tabloids like Daily Mail, all that type of stuff. He's definitely inserting himself in the case. He does have some interesting things to say. He did an investigation into the freezer in the home. He said, this is a quote from him, the freezer still had its shelves installed along with food and beverage items that had clearly been there for months. I also tested key areas of interest in and around the home with luminol and blue star to look for blood evidence and did not get any positive results, which I don't know if it really means much because I highly doubt that even if she was in a freezer, she wouldn't have been in the freezer at the home. Maybe they put her in some other type of commercial or industrial freezer. Yeah. Maybe. Steve, the PI, did also speak about other things he'd found. He said he alleged that he found they were called, like the articles called them like farm-like items or farm-related materials. He said there were multiple of these items that could all be used together that you'd never need in a Hollywood Hills home. You'd be more likely to find them on a farm. He also told Court TV and Law and Crime that the items recovered from the property could be described as sadistic and suggested that they could potentially be used to get rid of a person. So he hasn't really given any more information about what was found, but he's just
just tell us what they are.
Yeah, he's just kind of giving these people, giving us these little teasers about these crazy farm items that were apparently found at the house.
Like what, a tractor?
Well, I feel like it must be some type of implement, like a tool, like a I don't know, a saw or a pickaxe or something like that. Maybe that's what I'm interpreting it as. He also said that bottles of prescription pain medication were recovered inside, and there was also various items of drug paraphernalia. He said the condition of the home and the items found inside were otherwise normal. I have all these questions, though. If David knew he was under investigation, why would they pack up and leave a house and leave all this stuff there? Wouldn't you clean out the house? His manager terminated the lease. Wouldn't you get all your stuff out, especially before this PI can come in and do an investigation?
I feel like he's young and stupid, and also maybe they have some type of celebrity now. Thinks he's like a little bit untouchable.
But like, who is also leaving their food and stuff in the fridge of a house? I guess maybe he just wanted to get out of there as quickly as he could, but I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned, we're recording on the 30th of November, your time. On Monday, November 24th, this County of Los Angeles Department of the Medical Examiner announced that they had received a court order, which was initiated by the LAPD, and that meant that a security hold has been placed on Celeste's case. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Medical Examiner in LA has a public database. You can go on and look for a name of someone. If you know they've passed away, you can look at the date that someone died and it will come up. And basically once their death investigation is complete, it will list the cause of death. And you can also order their autopsy reports and things like that for a fee. It's a very open public records place, but they've placed a security hold on Celeste, which means basically no one can access it at the moment. The ME said no records or details associated with the case, including the cause and manner of death, and the ME report can be released or posted on the website until further notice. They went on to say the department understands the public's interest in this case and remains committed to transparency when possible. Information will be made available once the court order is lifted. So the LAPD Captain Mike Bland has spoken, because I feel like there's some animosity between the medical examiner and the LAPD. They don't seem to be on the same page in this case. He has said that the security hold was not sought to undermine transparency, but to maintain the integrity of the police investigation, which is ongoing. He said it was done so that our investigators get the information before the media and the public. The Chief Medical Examiner, Dr. Akpo, has said that security holds are virtually unheard of in other counties in California. He said, "We are dedicated to serving our community with full transparency. However, the law precludes us from doing so while this court order remains in case." Because I feel for them it would be frustrating. No doubt they're probably getting inundated with queries and questions, and their website is an easy way for them to put it out there. Like most celebrities end up on there if they have a medical examiner investigation. So anyway. On November 26th, just a few days ago, we've learned that a grand jury has been convened in this case. According to the Los Angeles Times, prosecutors led by Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman have possibly called multiple witnesses before the panel. Sources say that the grand jury was convened in mid-November, but it's unclear if it has concluded and if prosecutors have finished presenting evidence. The LA Times also said that the court petition they recently obtained, which is in regards to the LAPD blocking the release of Celeste's death records, contained a grand jury number confirming their suspicions. The grand jury review marks the first time the case has entered the formal judicial pipeline. However, this particular grand jury can only recommend charges. They cannot return an indictment in this type of proceeding. They can return subpoenas for witnesses and other evidence needed, and it can take months or sometimes even years. So I feel like it's a very interesting process that they're going down. Obviously, there seems to be a lot of mitigating factors in this case, which is why there haven't been any charges placed against David or whoever put the Tesla there. It seems like I'm interested to hear more about this grand jury process.
Yeah, if anything, it's a sign that it's going in the right direction. I'm guessing towards arresting David, maybe?
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, like I know that obviously this is a US case, so for anyone who isn't familiar with what a grand jury is, basically it is called to determine if there is enough probable cause to indict someone for a serious crime. So interesting that it has only been obviously 2 months. Like I feel like it's very quick to maybe call a grand jury, it seems to me. Usually this happens from, other cases that I'm familiar with, like years after a case when nothing much is happening. And this has only happened 2 months after.
I feel like they have a lot of evidence, but also my guess or an idea is maybe they just don't have evidence of where she was killed or something like that. Nothing really solidly connecting her to David having killed her. But even all the stuff we know seems to point in that direction. But I don't know.
I feel like too, there are a lot of actual possible scenarios in this case, which I guess that kind of leads into why there may be a grand jury. In terms of theories, one of the main theories is that something happened to Celeste, maybe like an overdose, and that it was more of a cover-up more so than a murder. So that could be why the grand jury has been convened, because it's not really like, obviously I'm sure they're waiting for toxicology and things like that, and that's probably part of why the hold has been placed on her records. So that is one theory, is that she overdosed. He and his team panicked and they dumped the body, but then why would they dump it in his own Tesla? I don't know. That just seems ridiculous.
Like not far from his house.
Yeah, like literally, very close to his house. Again, the other theory is that she was murdered. Again, why would he dump her in his own vehicle? Why not put her body somewhere else? There are rumors online that she was pregnant and he, didn't want the baby, and that could be reason for murder. Again, we don't know if that's true or not.
It still seems very sloppy. It's just very bizarre.
I would believe, I don't even know what I think in this case. I don't necessarily think it was a premeditated murder. I think if I was going to pick one of the scenarios that I've read more so, it would be that this was an accidental death, and he has just done a really bad job of, rather than calling the police, they panicked and they have messed this up big time.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I think is most likely too, because I mean, obviously I don't know anything about him. I didn't even know I knew one of his songs, but I don't think he would have killed her. I just don't get the vibe. I feel like it was more like an accident or something happened and then they just stupidly tried to cover it up.
We did ask on our Instagram what people thought. A few comments were along the lines of, I think he murdered her because I think he's a Satanist or sadistic. And obviously a lot of his songs are about death, suicide, murder, romantic homicide, birthday suicide, all those type of things. I feel
like it's just edgy, trying to be edgy.
Yeah, that's what I think too. And people are obviously, when we spoke about that he had the funeral for his alter ego, that was maybe around the time that Celeste passed away. So, obviously he's giving these subliminal messages. I feel like he's just trying to be edgy and a bit, alternative.
I agree. And there's these comments, I forgot to put them in the notes, but they were on TMZ. I just looked it up. There's comments of him saying he loves gore from 2023 on the Discord. He wrote, "I love gore. I use it to desensitize myself. I used to be addicted to watching gore videos. Live Leak was bookmarked LMAO." I think anybody in middle school probably said shit like that at one point. We have all watched gore videos at some point on the internet.
I feel too,
and
obviously
regretted it, but you're just trying to be cool and edgy.
There's I guess a market for that type of stuff. Remember Rotten.com and all that. I know a lot of them are defunct.
When I was little.
A lot of them are defunct now, but there is enough, and even now I know they're online. There's a Facebook group called Morgue Morticia, and they post a lot of that type of stuff. So there obviously are people that are interested, and I feel like he's just playing, he seems obviously we mentioned he was homeschooled, he liked Fortnite, he obviously knew his demographic of people who were very active online. So I feel like, a lot of those people sometimes are quite alternative, are into that type of thing. So I feel like he's just playing to his market and it was probably quite clever marketing for his songs. Not obviously, I'm not talking about Celeste's death, but I'm talking about his music and all that was quite cleverly marketed to his exact target audience.
Yeah, I agree.
There is an interesting Reddit thread that someone has posted, and it apparently contains screenshots from Celeste's brother, Matthew. I'll read out some of these screenshots. It says, so someone has messaged Matthew and posted these screenshots. It says, Dude, why does David follow you? All respect to your sister, and I hate how shitty people have been. Was it really him? Jesus. And Matthew writes, yes, it was him, because he found my account out of nowhere and followed me. The person asks Matthew, did you ever speak to him? I met him once in person. And then the person asks Matthew if he knew that Celeste was living with David. It says, was she living with him? All of this shit is so confusing and disgusting. Matthew says, I knew and went to the police about it, but lack of evidence, so it was waved off. He went on to say they didn't do anything. They haven't even done anything towards him. And then they keep going on for it. The person asks, how long has she been gone? Matthew asks, dead ? And then he says 2 weeks. So obviously this conversation is a little older now. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in here. The person says, was your sister like in love with him and choosing to stay? I'm guessing it was all just him manipulating her. Matthew says, yeah, she was always saying she was waiting till she was 18 to get married and stuff like that. So yeah, so like there's a lot, like all of these screenshots are online, allegedly related to Celeste. When I asked on Instagram what people thought, I found this comment really interesting. It's from another true crime person. I don't know if I should say her name. Maybe I'll just leave that out. So this is a really interesting comment because I do think that most of it could be a possibility. She said about the David case, I think she wanted to stay with him and he wanted to break up, and he knew she was going to make a big deal about the age thing. So she told him she was pregnant, but she really wasn't. He thought she was, and she was probably doing that to keep him. And I think he was probably high on drugs one night and strangled her. I don't know if he strangled her. Like, this is me interjecting now. Maybe, like, it could absolutely be along those lines. But, I feel like all of that could be a probability. Then they go on to say that I think he brought her to some kind of facility in Santa Barbara, which would explain why the police made that statement, and froze her in the freezer until he could think about what to do. And then I think he either paid someone to take whatever was in the freezer and put it into his Tesla. He probably paid an assistant to go and pick up a package, but he didn't say what it was, and it was her body. I think that person probably just thought they were taking his car back to his house and parking it for him. So I agree, because the police also, we mentioned earlier that they made the statement about there being an accomplice and someone had helped David basically dismember and move the body. So I feel like that could be explainable, absolutely, which is why there haven't been any other charges for anyone of like concealing a corpse or tampering with a corpse or something like that, because maybe the person genuinely did not know.
Yeah, I think that part could definitely be true. The rest is like, who's to say? I think he definitely at least knows more than he's saying, or maybe he knows more. He knows what happened to her is my guess. And I'm assuming, I don't know, something me still thinks accident, and they tried to, him and other people tried to cover it up.
I feel like I'm leaning more so towards accident now, just because of the grand jury part. If it was going to be a full-on murder investigation, I feel like they maybe wouldn't have convened the grand jury yet. It would have still been ongoing. Like, as I mentioned, it's been only a few months. That leads me to believe they don't have a whole lot of evidence that it was a murder, and maybe they're just trying to figure out what charges are applicable.
Yeah.
But again, I also wouldn't be shocked if it was.
Yeah,
if
I was just going to say it too.
Murder.
That's just what my gut instinct is saying.
So as we said at the start, David hasn't been charged with anything. There is no, confirmation that he was involved in this case. He obviously is involved because Celeste was the last person he was known to be with. She had been living with him. But in terms of his she was in his car. In terms of her death, there is no, confirmation that David is involved. And we will let you know if there are any updates.
Yeah, if there is an update before this comes out, I'll put in a clip here and we'll talk about it next time we record. So yeah, I'll do that if there's an update that we aren't able to talk about.
The only other thing I found interesting too is we have been posting quite a lot about this case on our Instagram, and we have occasionally tagged his Instagram for anyone who wants to see it. Like, it's a public Instagram. We're not, outing him at all. He's got 1.9 million followers. His Instagram is still wide open. But I did find it interesting when we asked people the other day what they thought. We get notifications, obviously, when people follow us, and someone with a Hello Kitty username followed us, and we didn't get too much into it, but David and Celeste did have a bit of a Hello Kitty fixation.
Hello Kitty
There's
obsession.
a bunch of videos of him wearing Hello Kitty stuff. I think he had like a Hello Kitty skateboard. So I just found that was interesting. I did request the person to follow them back. They haven't accepted yet. But when we were chatting about it on our Patreon, and someone commented and said basically he has so many fake online accounts, they wouldn't be surprised if it is him. I doubt it is, but I just thought it was an interesting timing of someone with a random fake account, Hello Kitty account, following us.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, but then again, lots of people like Hello Kitty, I'm sure.
Yeah, true. No, so I feel like obviously these grand jury proceedings are probably going to be ongoing for a while. They only convened in mid-November. We're now at the end of November, so it's only been a few weeks. So maybe we will hear something soon, but I wouldn't be surprised too if this goes on for months and months and months.
Yeah, so we'll see. But that is it for this episode and for their story up to date so far as of November 30th. Like I said, I'll add in a clip if anything else happens. Everything will be on the blog at truecrimesocietyblog.com. We'll link like the Reddits and all the things that we found online on there if you guys want to look more into it. That's at truecrimesocietyblog.com. And make sure you follow us on Instagram. We'll post any other updates that come out there as well at True Crime Society on Instagram. And if you want to follow our personal accounts, mine is Stephsum_, Olivia's TCS Olivia. And check us out on Patreon as well. If you have not already, we do weekly bonus episodes. We do all the episodes ad-free, and we do earlier release of this episode as well. So you get 2 episodes without ads every week. Plus, we have some more chats on there, and we're hoping to do some more with Patreon at some point. It's just, we're getting there. We're learning how to do all the things still.
Yep.
So check us out over there and leave us comments on Spotify. We love seeing what everyone has to say and chatting with everyone. It's pretty cool that you can comment on Spotify now. So keep that up. And my last request is to share what you're doing or just share the podcast to your Instagram story. Share what you're doing while you're listening to the podcast if you want. We'd love to reshare and see what everyone's up to while you're listening. And it's a big help to us to get the word out. So that is it. Thank you guys for listening. As always, stay safe out there. Peace out.
See ya.